This afternoon claims Adelaide Airport has put savings ahead of safety. Hope for an Australian family trapped in the Philippines. What next for the cruise ship at the centre of Australia's coronavirus outbreak? A truckie praised for his quick thinking as his semi erupts in flames. And the coronavirus crisis forces Adelaide United's coach to move back home.
This is 7 News Adelaide with Rosanna Mangiarelli.
Good afternoon. First to some positive news on the fight against coronavirus, with South Australia recording just 2 new cases in the past 24 hours. The latest data was released moments ago. While health officials say it's pleasing, the low figure could be partly attributed to fewer tests being carried out on the weekend. 20 South Australians remain in hospital with the virus, 10 are in intensive care. In an extraordinary step, security camera vision is being examined to track down potential patients caught up in the Adelaide Airport outbreak. Deanna Williams is at the airport, and there are serious concerns for workers there.
Yes, that's right. There are, Rosanna. 7 News has been told there are just 4 cleaning staff remaining here, and with the virus running rampant, it's left to those who have no choice but to work here with little confidence. Unions claim that their members are being kept in the dark with little or no direction. They say the health and safety of workers isn't being taken as seriously as it should. So far, 17 airport workers, mostly
its facilities in the fight against COVID-19. 13 new intensive care and high dependency beds will soon come online, and 80 nurses are being re-skilled to cope with any medical disaster.
No, we don't normally take adults, but we are planning for the worst. And in the worst case scenario, it might be that the adult intensive care units run out of capacity.
Hospital emergency departments are seeing fewer patients, while specialist COVID testing clinics are getting busier. The terrifying plight of a young South Australian family trapped in the Philippines has now been taken on by the nation's Trade Minister. Senator Simon Birmingham's lending a hand to get them home as tensions rise in Manila and a person's shot dead for disobeying COVID-19 laws.
What should be an island paradise for Adelaide's Digans family is now a prison-like nightmare, with few options for getting home. In a nearby town, police have now shot dead a man for disobeying COVID-19 restrictions.
We're very scared.
Chase information from the Philippines at a consular level. The family fully informed. That's given them a morale boost.
We're grateful for our story to be out there so that can start happening.
Getting the response from Simon Birmingham, we previously tried to contact him, so it's great.
Their world's slowly becoming brighter.
That's who I'm listening to back home, is all the positive messages and the kindness.
Sophia, a highly trained intensive care nurse, knows she's needed here. The family's not looking for a free ride home, just some affirmative action. And this pledge from the Premier following our story.
We'll be doing everything we can to get you back safe and sound to Adelaide as quickly as possible.
The Digans family can now see some light at the end of a very long tunnel, but they also know that without continuing high-level help, their homeward journey remains a difficult one.
This is a very, very difficult task, and it's a very anxious time. We're very keen to see this family return as soon as possible.
They're doing their bit to stay positive. Mike Smithson, 7 News.
In a desperate attempt to keep their community safe, the iconic Port Elliot Bakery has made a historic decision, closing its doors this Easter on what would have been one of its busiest weekends.
In general, we're still fairly busy. We're still getting a number of people through the shop. And with this weekend, we were thinking it might be a little bit too busy, so we decided to shut for the weekend.
The move comes as locals continue to beg tourists to stay away these school holidays. Wage relief will not be extended to casual workers excluded from the new JobKeeper scheme. The federal government today ruled it out as it finalises the legislation, despite pressure from Labor and key unions. Olivia Leeming reports.
The government's shut down the possibility of relief for more casuals as part of its new JobKeeper scheme, worth $130 billion. Divided into payments of $1,500 a fortnight, but only available to workers with the same employer for at least a year, forcing many casuals onto the lesser job seeker payment.
The definition of casual that we've used is, in essence, from the Fair Work Act. There have to be limits, even to a scheme of this enormous size.
1 million workers have their circumstances up in the air, and there is still time for this to be fixed.
Unions argue casuals and contract workers deserve support if they expected to receive ongoing work before the pandemic, but the government is standing firm.
We can't do everything because that means we just put ourselves in a dire economic position after the coronavirus has passed. You know, we've got to keep our heads screwed on.
The scheme will be extended to charity workers if their organisation's revenue has dropped at least 15%.
Between them, they employ hundreds of thousands of Australians. We want to keep as many of those Australians in work. Also, we want to make sure that charities can continue to support Australians who are doing it tough.
Labor will meet with the government tonight to discuss their concerns about the scheme, but won't block the legislation when it's put to a vote in Parliament on Wednesday.
Positive news on Australia's handling of the coronavirus crisis appears to be reflected in the local market. We've seen a bounce before, so it's raised questions about when investors can really start to believe in a market recovery. Network Finance Editor Gemma Acton has more.
With more and more businesses asking their staff to work from home, there are mounting concerns that household power and gas bills are set to soar. The work from home trend, alongside families now also forced to stay home to respect social distancing measures, is set to lead to significantly greater usage of many devices, including computers, lights and hot water systems. As we head into winter, heating costs will also start to weigh. The pressure on costs is driving calls for support from state and federal governments to help struggling customers.
Well, I'm sure it's probably on the agenda of the National Cabinet, but it's very, very important that it goes much higher up the agenda.
The government says there is already meaningful help available from power and gas providers.
Those facing financial distress should speak to their energy retailer, and they have well-established policies that have now extended to the virus.
Energy efficiency is vital at this time. Heating and cooling homes on average uses up around 2/5 of home energy. Wholesale prices are now around 60% lower than they were a year ago, so for customers not locked into contracts, now is the time to be shopping around for the best deal.
Fuel giant Caltex will temporarily close its only oil refinery in Australia as the coronavirus crisis wipes out global fuel demand. The Brisbane facility will shut its doors in May, bringing forward a planned outage for maintenance work. Caltex expects jet fuel demand will drop 80 to 90% because of flight restrictions. The supplier has also seen a drop in retail petrol demand of 30 to 50%. Overseas, and the British Prime Minister is spending the night in a London hospital 10 days after testing positive to coronavirus. Boris Johnson has persistent symptoms, including a temperature, and is having routine tests on the advice of his doctor. The 55-year-old remains in charge of the government, but the Foreign Secretary is expected to chair a meeting about coronavirus in the morning. Staying in the UK, and the Queen has delivered a rare speech about the coronavirus pandemic, just the fifth address to the Commonwealth in her 68-year reign. The appearance was used to thank frontline health workers and rally the nation. Hugh Whitfeld reports.
A rare address from the Queen at Windsor Castle.
I'm speaking to you at what I know is an increasingly challenging time. A time of disruption in the life of our country. A disruption that has brought grief to some, financial difficulties to many, and enormous changes to the daily lives of us all.
Her Majesty acknowledging the hardship and loss inflicted by the virus, praising medical staff and the way Britons have thanked them.
The moments when the United Kingdom has come together to applaud its care and essential workers will be remembered as an expression of our national spirit. And its symbol will be the rainbows drawn by children. I hope in the years to come, everyone will be able to take pride in how they responded to this challenge. And those who come after us will say the Britons of this generation were as strong as any.
Royal broadcasts like this are exceptionally rare. Elizabeth's first was as a princess, alongside her sister Margaret in 1940 during the Second World War.
We as children spoke from here at Windsor to children who had been evacuated from their homes and sent away for their own safety. Today, once again, many will feel a painful sense of separation from their loved ones.
But there was, too, a message of hope.
We will succeed, and that success will belong to every one of us. Better days will return. We will be with our friends again. We will be with our families again. We will meet again.
The Queen at 94, of course, is in a high-risk group for coronavirus. Just one cameraman was in a large room at Windsor Castle where they practiced social distancing while recording that, and that cameraman was wearing full protective gear.
And Ireland's Prime Minister has joined the coronavirus fight, announcing he'll work as a doctor 1 day a week. Leo Varadkar has re-registered as a medical practitioner. He was a doctor for 7 years before entering politics. The 41-year-old won't come into contact with patients, instead conducting phone assessments of those who may have the deadly virus. And still to come on 7's afternoon news, how to keep your budget in the black when every dollar counts. America warned it's facing one of the hardest weeks in the country's history. The Pope celebrates the start of Holy Week without a congregation. One of Europe's biggest cities goes quiet as strict new quarantine measures come into force. And a quiet town in lockdown welcomes some curious new residents.
In this time of uncertainty, you need the latest facts.
Testing for COVID-19 expanded.
That's why every night, the latest answers your critical questions.
Who did the cover-up, why and when?
What's developing?
More than 1 million people have tested positive.
Get the latest from 7 News every night.
So, now that we're open up here, check out our great range and compare.
A dozen a store, there's one thing for sure, you'll never know what you'll find there. Oh, you'll find it in kilos and pounds. You'll find it on heaps and on mounds. In gallons and liters, in yards and in meters. You'll find it at Paramount Browns. Come on, everyone! Join the
Donate some of your data to kids who need it most and power their potential.
Construction has begun and all 3 Woolworths stores are seriously overstocked. I'm clearing over 1,000 items, like rugs from $10, pots from $15 and $20 prints, plus clearance prices on furniture, floor stock, discontinued, even custom, lounges, recliners, beds, mattresses, timber and even outdoor. Remember, you can trade in your old furniture and we can even take it away. Woolworths, Mount Barker, Richmond and Tanunda.
This guy's my best friend. I'd like to find that in a partner too. That's why I trust eHarmony.
No one can connect you with high-quality singles like eHarmony. That's why every 14 minutes, someone finds love on eHarmony. Start free today.
Cassini House for Adelaide's best granite, marble and engineered stone bench tops. All in the one place. Cassini House.
All my dreams are coming true.
Feed the family with Hungry Jack's new family bundle. Treat yourself with 2 Whoppers, 2 cheeseburgers, 4 small chips, 4 Cokes, 10 nuggets and sauce, only $24.95. Get takeaway, drive-through or delivery at Hungry Jack's.
Guys, you can buy them online at step1.life.
While we're all parked for a while, Lexus isn't. We're still anticipating your needs. So if your Lexus needs a service, we'll pick it up, deliver you a loan car, and return yours thoroughly cleaned inside and out.
I'm a Specsavers optometrist, and I've got an important message. While our stores are currently closed for business, we're still open for care. If you require urgent eye care or are an essential worker, we're here for you. Visit specsavers.com.au.
There's no doubt it's an anxious time for everyone. Most of us are concerned about our health, but for many it's also a trying time when it comes to finances. However, as Elise Baker explains, there are ways to make savings.
With living rooms replacing local bars, recycling bottles is one way to get a few extra bucks back in your pocket. But with more of us staying at home, now is the perfect opportunity to review your budget and find new ways to save during these uncertain times.
That budget is going to give people the visibility into their future to make sure that they've got enough income coming in to cover all of their expenses at this time.
Founder of My Budget, Tammy Barton, says staying in means we can easily identify where we can cut back on costs. Even though we're home more, look at ways to reduce the use of household utilities. If you've got high interest credit cards, consider consolidating those to a low interest repayment and see if you can get a better deal when it comes to your home loan.
Is there a better interest rate that you may be able to get? At the moment, we're seeing clients saving around $400 a month by refinancing.
With many services cancelled, make sure you're getting back any money you're owed.
The Australian consumer law has certain consumer guarantees which says that services must be supplied, and if they are cancelled, you are generally entitled to a refund.
If you're having trouble getting a refund or credit, consider asking your bank for a chargeback or go to Fair Trading. Elise Baker, 7 News.
The much-maligned Ruby Princess cruise ship has docked at its new temporary home south of Sydney. The ship is now the focus of a criminal investigation, as Chris Reason reports.
Yes, good afternoon. Well, this morning the Ruby Princess pulled into Port Kembla and with 1,040 crewmen on board from 50 different nationalities. The plan at this stage is to keep them on board, to allow nobody to get off. The only people getting on board the ship will be Australian Border Force officials and health officials. They want to get inside and get a clear and accurate picture of how many people are actually suffering from COVID-19. They will then separate them from people who haven't got the disease, and those people will quarantine for 10 days before they are allowed to gradually be let off the ship, and then they will be allowed to head back home. The government saying it will repatriate them. It is talking about charter flights when that eventually happens. For those that are sick and need help, they will be allowed to be taken off the vessel though and put into local hospital systems. That has deeply distressed some locals in Port Kembla. They're asking why their town, their port, was chosen for the Ruby Princess to come in and dock. The Police Commissioner of New South Wales though is guaranteeing them that their hospitals will not be overwhelmed and that the disease will not be allowed to leave the ship and spread through their town, their region.
Large yellow barriers in Wuhan are beginning to be knocked down by workers as the city prepares to move on from the coronavirus crisis. The city, known as Coronavirus Ground Zero, has been in lockdown since late January to stop the spread of the deadly illness. People are gradually being allowed to travel in and out of the city, with the quarantine set to be formally lifted later this week. Residents have celebrated the barrier removal as China continues to focus on containing imported COVID-19 cases. The US is expected to endure the peak of its coronavirus pandemic in the days ahead. As Ashley Mullaney reports, residents are being warned to prepare for one of the hardest and saddest weeks of their lives.
Good afternoon. The nation's top doctor delivered a stark warning to Americans that the coming days will resemble Pearl Harbor. As the number of cases climbs above 300,000, the deaths edging closer to 10,000. Speaking from the White House this evening, the president walked a fine line between recognising the severity of the crisis but speaking of light at the end of the tunnel. The pictures from the epicentre in New York tell a story of a healthcare system at breaking point. Medical staff pushed to their limits, the apex just days away or possibly plateauing.
This is going to be the hardest and the saddest week of most Americans' lives, quite frankly. This is going to be our Pearl Harbor moment, our 9/11 moment, only it's not going to be localized. It's going to be happening all over the country, and I want America to understand that.
Across the country, cases are growing from Washington, D.C. to New Orleans and Detroit. In Florida, passengers, including 80 Australians, are slowly disembarking disembarking the Coral Princess in Miami, while hundreds of Australians from the ill-fated ships Zaandam and Rotterdam finally started their journey home, a charter flight ferrying them home from San Francisco to Melbourne tonight.
Pope Francis has marked a surreal Palm Sunday in a near-empty basilica. The service, beginning Holy Week, typically attracts thousands to the Vatican. This year, though, it was attended by about 24 people, including aides, nuns and a scaled-down choir. Jerusalem's service was also scaled back due to coronavirus. The traditional Palm Sunday procession was cancelled. Instead, a small group of Roman Catholic faithful took to the streets to hand out olive branches. Central Moscow has been left deserted as strict lockdown measures are introduced there. Residents are only allowed to leave their homes to buy food or medicine nearby, get urgent medical treatment, walk the dog or take out rubbish. Workers have been spraying disinfectant on empty streets in a bid to control the coronavirus spread. All flights in and out of the country, including those for repatriating citizens, have been suspended to limit a new wave of infections. And a herd of elephants has taken a stroll in southern India. Residents in lockdown are staying indoors, leaving the streets free for inquisitive animals. Nearly a dozen of the heavy beasts walked freely on the empty roads as stunned locals watched on from their homes. What a sight indeed. Now let's check in with Nikki on what's coming up in sport. Nikki.
Well, Rosanna, we'll have more on the AFL's radical new plan to get the season restarted earlier. Also ahead, with the A-League on hiatus, Adelaide United coach Gert-Jan Verbeek is heading back to the Netherlands with his family for now. Plus, life also looks very different for Australia's best gymnast now that the Olympics are on hold. She's making sure that isolation doesn't stop kids from doing their gymnastics. We'll have all that and lots more in sport, Rosanna.
We'll see you then. Thank you, Nikki. Also ahead on 7's Afternoon News, what are your chances of getting COVID-19? The new Australian test that will tell you. An increase in business break-ins. Is the coronavirus to blame? A lucky escape for a truckie on the southeastern freeway and a frightening spike in radiation near the site of the world's worst nuclear disaster.
Living, working, schooling, all from home. Getting the balance to work and make the most of this challenging situation. Sunrise tomorrow.
Today we'll be offering... They're gone. What do you mean they're gone? The snacks. They're gone. Missing. Well, they have to be here somewhere. They're not here. They can't just get up and walk away.
All right, only 13 more hours to go.
New M&M's Mint. In stores now. At Terry White Chemmart, we are here to help this winter with our exclusive Cold and Flu Day and Night 72 value pack at just $15.99. High quality and everyday low prices. Now that's real chemistry at Terry White Chemmart.
When unexpected guests arrive, don't panic. Use Airwick plug-ins infused with essential oils. Just plug it in to neutralise smells for freshness that lasts up to 100 days. Come in. Airwick plug-ins.
Hi, I'm Tammy Barton. I founded My Budget to help people get through difficult times, just like Alyssa and Pete.
The initial phone call was free, and that relief that I felt when I hung up the phone just after talking to them, and I knew that there was a plan. For a free phone call, that's a pretty good feeling to have.
We're offering free phone appointments for every Australian. Call My Budget today from the convenience of your own home.
A lot of people have sensitive teeth, but gum health is really important as well. If you've got sensitive teeth, you should be looking for something to help with the sensitivity, but you should also be thinking about, do I need to look after my gums? Using the new Sensodyne Sensitivity and Gum toothpaste not only deals with sensitivity, it also maintains gum health when used twice a day, every day. I think it's fantastic to have a dual action toothpaste. 2 benefits with the one toothpaste. What a great idea.
Step 1, zip. Step 1, zip. Come together. Yeah, we can't sing. Step 1 now offers zip. Buy now, pay later.
So you can grab a 7-pack for just $22 each.
Total minimum cost, $154. And pay nothing today. You can never have enough.
What if you're missing information that could affect your child's future? Like important information about meningococcal disease. A rare but potentially deadly and devastating illness, most common in infants and adolescents. Missing information could mean missing out on a whole lot more. Speak to your doctor for more information on meningococcal disease and how you can help protect your family.
At Apia, we're all about possibilities and making sure you're ready for them. Because you've got things to do and places to be. But if you're driving less because you're living more, we offer comprehensive motor insurance that rewards you with our Drive Less, Pay Less discount. Apia. Get set, go. Call 13 50 50.
Impacting you, power bill spikes, how to get relief and cancelling payments, your refund rights. 7 News, tonight, 6 o'clock.
Frontline healthcare workers may soon have another weapon in the fight against COVID-19. Australian scientists are developing a test that will identify who's immune and who's most at risk if they contract the disease. Jodie Lee explains.
Researchers here at the Burnett Institute are developing a unique weapon in the fight against coronavirus. Currently, we only have a test to determine who is infected with COVID-19. But this team has found a unique way to determine who is infectious, who is immune, who is likely to suffer serious symptoms, and who could only develop a mild form of the illness.
To test it, we need to examine patients who are convalescent, so who have recovered from the infection. And of course, we now have cases in Australia, but we're trying to get samples.
In a week or so, these researchers will receive blood samples from infected patients in epicentres across the world: Italy, China and New York. It will take just 2 hours for scientists to break down and understand the patient's immunity.
There are indications that certain types of immunoglobulins or antibodies really drive inflammation, whereas other types dampen it. So that could be a difference.
The test won't prevent people from falling ill, but it could keep vital healthcare workers on the front line. By knowing how susceptible they are to this virus, hospitals will be better able to manage and protect their teams.
A 21-year-old man has pleaded guilty to coughing in the face of a police officer at Bondi Beach and causing a coronavirus scare. Clayton Eade was ordered to stay away from the area, but he told a Sydney court this afternoon he only went to Bondi Beach because that's where he spread his late mother's ashes. He's tested negative for the virus. For the third time in a fortnight, a southern suburbs optometrist has been robbed, with the break-in caught on camera. As Casey Trelaw reports, the owners are putting the spike in crime down to COVID-19.
The alarm was raised just before 3:30 this morning when an intruder broke in through the front door. After delicately removing the front door glass, the thief's inside. He quickly gets to work looking for items of value. Then, jackpot, a stash of sunglasses he shoves in his bag before making a run for it.
They're just looking for stuff that's easier to sell, which sunglasses can be.
Police failed to locate the culprit, a frustration for the Westbourne Park business owner, as it's the third time he's been targeted by thieves in just 2 weeks.
Just had new cameras and had the door fixed from the last entry, and so it's back to square one.
His store in Blackwood was also targeted. There, a string of 12 other businesses have been hit by thieves in the past few weeks.
It was horrible, especially we're all trying to deal with hard times already.
Police have reported a recent 26% spike in business break-ins since March 16.
We have seen some changes in patterns in terms of crime in South Australia.
Some people believe that's due to the hardship people are facing as a result of the coronavirus.
I guess people are just getting a bit desperate.
It's targeted, so possibly, it probably is.
Police are appealing for anyone with information to come forward.
A truck driver's lucky to be alive after escaping this fiery explosion. His semi-trailer carrying a load of timber caught alight on the southeastern freeway during this morning's peak.
The truck driver did very well. He obviously heard there was an issue with his truck, made a quick assessment that he needed to pull over and somewhere safe, and luckily he did get off the freeway and found a safe point here and got out just in time.
Traffic slowed to a crawl as thick smoke drifted right across the area. There's been a spike in radiation levels in the restricted zone around Chernobyl because of a large forest fire. More than 100 firefighters managed to contain the blaze, which has burnt through a large area of land. The fire was burning within the exclusion zone established after the world's worst nuclear accident. The zone is largely unpopulated, although about 200 people have remained there despite orders to leave. And still to come on 7's Afternoon News, the new rules you need to know when you go shopping, how you can pay your respects from home on Anzac Day, also another health problem set to arise when the coronavirus crisis is over.
Tonight at 7, you'll be renovating the penthouse in this iconic building. Oh, is that a pool? Bigger reveals.
Look at this view. We have never had anything as big as this on House Rules.
Bigger emotion.
Even a house?
The biggest renovations that TV has ever seen. Welcome to High Stakes. Starts tonight at 7 on 7.
Get 60 months interest-free now at Harvey Norman and receive a bonus gift card. The more you spend using interest-free, the greater the value of the bonus gift card, up to $300. Get what you need now with great deals across a huge range of furniture and bedding. Get 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card. The more you spend using interest-free, the greater the value of the bonus gift card, up to $300. Limited time only, now at Harvey Norman.
At Terry White ChemMart, we're here to help this winter with expert advice from masterclass trained pharmacists and a huge range of pharmacy-only cold and flu products. Get real winter defence at Terry White ChemMart. Now that's real chemistry.
Head to Macca's fast, contact-free drive-through if you need a little comfort and get a 100% Aussie beef hamburger for just $1.50. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.
For 100 years, Macleays have proudly carpeted thousands of Adelaide homes. The showroom hosts one of Adelaide's largest display of carpets, including the quality Red Book range. But it's the Macleay experience that keeps people coming back, helping you make the best choices for your home and your lifestyle. It's a proud tradition, and that's why they love what they do. So come in and meet the team at Macleay's Carpets, 243 Glen Osmond Road, Frueville.
1 in 3 Aussies live with high cholesterol. So make the change to Flora Proactive with plant sterols proven to lower cholesterol. Delicious Flora Proactive and an active, healthy lifestyle can reduce your cholesterol in just 21 days.
I hate it when you're in the middle of a jig and your thighs start rubbing and your jock's right up. Step 1. These Lycra panels between the legs stop chafing right up. And this 3D pouch keeps the lead roadie in check. Buy them online at step1.life. Step 1. Lure.
When cold and flu symptoms strike, a kiss can make them feel better. But for effective relief through the night, there's Nurofen for children. Starts to reduce fever from 15 minutes and lasts for up to 8 hours. Nurofen for children.
There's only one thing to look for. Choose a super fund with this symbol.
We're all in this together.
To respond, 7 News is the one news service separating facts from fear, keeping you totally informed. Turn to 7 News.
Welcome back to 7's Afternoon News. Now let's recap our top stories. Further good news today with just 2 more cases of coronavirus recorded. The state's total is now 411. Adelaide Airport Management has rejected claims from key unions that there are not enough cleaners on site because numbers have been reduced to cut costs. And an Adelaide family trapped in the Philippines has been given hope after government officials vowed to get them help home. Supermarkets are pleading with customers to stay calm, fearing another stampede ahead of Easter. Strict new social distancing rules came into force today, so if there are too many people in the store, you'll have to wait your turn.
Supermarket staff playing crowd control.
They're wiping the trolleys before you use them. The markings on the floor telling you where to stand in the queues.
Workers have been placed at entrances to stores armed with a counter. One click, one customer. Once the store hits capacity, shoppers have to line up outside, all in the name of social distancing.
If there is the odd queue, keep the social distance. There'll be team members on hand to help.
It's hoped the new rules will ease congestion in stores ahead of the Easter onslaught. It's scenes like these they're desperate to avoid.
Easter is our second busiest trading period outside of Christmas, and the whole intent is to try and ensure that our customers are not rushing in on a Thursday.
At Coles, opening hours have been extended till 10 p.m, midnight in some cases, to help manage crowds. Preparations too at Aldi stores. Markers have been placed on the floor to ensure social distancing. Here, opening hours have been reduced to allow restocking of shelves and thorough cleaning before traditionally one of the busiest shopping days of the year. And it's not just the big chain supermarkets implementing these drastic new measures. In coming days, they'll also be seen at independent stores right across the state.
You can't do 100% safety, but you can go as close as you possibly can.
Tim Yateman, 7 News.
A Queensland woman's encouraging people to take a DIY approach to this year's Anzac Day traditions. Gympie florist Karen Bruce is calling on families to make their own wreath and place them in front of their home as a tribute to our diggers.
So I think that is an important thing, that everybody get in and talk to the neighbours or do a little letterbox drop, say, hey, we're going to be doing this for Anzac Day, let's all get on board, see you out at 5:55 on the street.
The call to arms to make a wreath follows a Victorian man's suggestion that people play the last post at 6 a.m. at Anzac Day in their front yards. Let's check finance now with Tom Petrovski at CommSec. Good afternoon there, Tom. It seems as though investors threw caution to the wind today.
Certainly felt that way, Rosanna. The market had a stunning improvement today. It rose by just over 4%. Just to put that into context, last week the market rose by 4.6% to post its best weekly improvement since the end of 2011. So it seems as though the combination of the sugar rush of low interest rates and support for the government in the absence of any bad financial news at the moment is what is encouraging investors into the picture. But it's just a question of time before we see some grim readings in economic terms, at least. But today, banks were particularly strong. They're up in the order of around 4 to 5%. Energy stocks were higher. They're amongst the most improved on the sense that OPEC and allied producers are going to cut production later on in the week. Mesoblast was a big improver. This is a biotech stock who has a drug which has been approved by the US FDA to be able to trial the drug on COVID-19 patients, and the stock was up by a massive 35% today.
Thank you very much, Tom. Now, being cooped up inside for too long can be harmful to both your mental and physical health. Dietitians are worried a lack of exercise and that emotional or boredom eating could make things even worse. Tristan Vorius reports.
Thousands right across the country going through one of the toughest times they'll ever face. Job losses, financial and relationship stress. Dietitians are worried that unhealthy food choices and a lack of exercise could make matters worse. In supermarkets across the country, cake, muffin and brownie mixes are emptying off the shelves. Some stuck at home are curing their boredom with baking.
We don't know how long this is going to last for, and we're not wanting to develop bad behaviours over months and months that then become really, really catastrophic to our health in the long term.
On the other hand, plenty of people are out and about working up a sweat more than usual, all the while keeping their social distance.
We are exercising a lot at the moment because it gives us something to do and a chance to get out of the house.
But for seniors like Merv and Marlene Gibson, leaving the house is not advised. So to keep active, they're treating their chores like workouts.
Keeping the pool clean and go for a swim and wash the cars and cut the grass.
To help at-risk groups further, some are calling for TV programs like Aerobic Oz Style to make a comeback.
1, 2, and a clap. Move it to the back and front again.
If you do love to bake and it's not something you can go without, the advice is to swap the cake mix for a healthier, low-calorie recipe, curing your boredom but not at the expense of your waistline.
I'm going to have to put my hand up right there, Nikki. Guilty baking all weekend. Isn't it terrible?
Yes, and Easter this weekend.
We've got that
Bit
coming.
dangerous.
All the chocolate on top of
We
it.
need
Not
the
good at all.
aerobics back on telly.
That would be hilarious.
Get
Remember
behind that right now?
That was what, in the 80s or something, wasn't it?
I
I remember clearly.
At school.
Yeah, same. There's talk of getting the AFL season restarted earlier. What's that all about?
Yeah, all options are on the table
Yeah,
to try and get footy back, and that 17-round season squeezed into the year. So they're talking of maybe putting clubs right around the country, quarantining them in certain areas to get some matches underway.
Oh, wow.
So we'll hear the Crows' take on that shortly. Also coming up, the Reds coach temporarily on his way home to the Netherlands. Plus, the Australian Grand Prix circuit in Melbourne finally sees some action.
Hello, Joanna Griggs here from Better Homes and Gardens.
Hi, Matt Preston here.
Jane Doyle from 7 News.
These are scary times.
We're all experiencing the same feelings. Stay safe, stay well. Because if you look after yourself, you look after others.
We really are all in this together.
We're all in this together.
Keep a smile on our face.
And we'll pull together and get out of this.
We are in this together and we're going to get through it.
The Melody. It sleeps up to 9. Well, sort of. Makes the perfect hiding spot. And also happens to be a very comfortable queen-size bed. Find your fantastic in-store or online today.
If dry or flaky skin is causing you frustration and embarrassment, try E45 cream. It soothes and relieves by creating an effective barrier to protect against skin dryness. Feel comfortable in your skin. Switch to E45.
Hyundai Kona. Way more fun than your car.
Biggest brands, best prices, like reverse cycle roomies from $4.99, inverter splits from only $5.49, or replacement ducted units from just $24.90. Air conditioning, warehouse sales, Salisbury, Richmond and Lonsdale. airwaresales.com.au.
Maltesers, the lighter way to enjoy chocolate.
I love you.
Thank you.
Did someone say KFC?
Little Bella's home with a newfound friend. Luckily, with Pino Clean Laundry Sanitizer, it doesn't matter where that's been. Because unlike detergent alone, which doesn't get rid of all germs, it removes 99.9% of bacteria. It's not clean unless it's Pino Clean.
And this is our everyday low price unit.
They do that every day?
Yep. You know, for everyday low prices.
These undies make you chafe. And these, as well as these. Chafing is horrible. These are Step 1s, the inventors of no chafe underwear. They've got these lycra panels between the legs, which means no more chafing. You buy them at step1.life and never chafe again.
Save up to 15% on your first year's premium when you get a new Allianz comprehensive car insurance policy online.
Hey, good to go.
Thanks.
Get that Allianz feeling. Search for a quote today.
Tonight, television's most inspiring home reveals. House Rules High Stakes starts tonight at 7 on 7.
Hello again, and Adelaide's head of football, Adam Kelly, has addressed the AFL's radical plan to reboot the 2020 season. It's understood the league's considering basing clubs in Darwin, Tasmania, WA and South Australia.
You know, the important thing is that we need to be flexible, so what is important that we try and get the season back underway and concluded, and the 144 games that remain in the home and away season, we've got to be flexible in the way we approach that, and certainly from our club's point of view, we will be flexible and adaptable to what the industry needs in getting that season and underway and concluded.
And if all goes to plan, the Crows will return to training early next month. Adelaide United coach Gert-Jan Verbeek is heading back to the Netherlands, but will return to coach the Reds. With the A-League on hold, Verbeek's decided to take his family home before a possible lockdown here in Australia or in Holland. The club's made it clear he's still contracted and expect to resume his role if and when the competition restarts. Former Socceroos captain Mark Viduka has launched a scathing attack on Australian football. In a rare interview, Viduka said he was undermined by his Socceroos successor Lucas Neal and holds little faith in the sport's governing body in Australia.
You have people running football in Australia who don't have a clue about football.
Viduka also confirmed he had a poor relationship with fellow Aussie Harry Kewell during their time at Leeds. Well, European football's governing body says it may be forced to abandon this season's Champions League and Europa League. Europe's top competitions may not return if coronavirus restrictions remain into September, but UEFA is hopeful games will instead be played behind closed doors. And football supporter groups have begun boycotting the Belarusian Premier League over coronavirus concerns. But calls for all fans to do the same seem to be falling on deaf ears, with hundreds of supporters still turning up to games. Belarus is one of just a handful of leagues worldwide to continue playing during the pandemic. Well, during the coronavirus-enforced lockdown, many of our athletes are using their spare time to give back. With her Olympic dream on hold until next year, our top gymnast, Georgia Godwin, has volunteered to teach children online.
Pre-virus, for 5 hours every day, this was Georgia's world. But in a twinkling, the world changed.
Hands and feet. Look how she pushes.
Embracing the Easter theme, Australia's finest gymnast volunteered to teach children online.
It was really sad seeing all the kids at home not sure what to do.
Gym doors were locked nationwide. Innovation was needed.
I feel like I'm giving back to the gymnastics community that has helped me so much in the past.
Georgia rallied after the initial shock of the Olympics being postponed.
I was devastated just because I had worked hard to get to this point.
The reality check of going back to basics, having a new date for Tokyo confirmed, and the challenge of perfecting fresh routines are driving her even harder now.
I have a bit more time to work on my new skills, clean up my old ones.
In the meantime, until gyms reopen, give the kids a once-in-a-lifetime workout with a budding Olympian. Online.deltagym.com.au. Pat Welch, 7 News.
And it's probably the closest we'll get to the Australian Grand Prix this year. A virtual Formula One Grand Prix was raced around the Albert Park circuit this morning. Much to the delight of Aussie cricket fans, England star Ben Stokes brought up the rear as Ferrari's Charles Leclerc topped the podium. It wasn't the only sport to go virtual. Cycling's Tour of Flanders in Belgium hit the screen after it was also postponed. So we're going to see a lot more of that, I think. But how good is it? Georgia Godwin getting online.
Oh no, that is awesome.
Gymnastics. I'm going to get that on our online screens for my 6-year-old. She'll love it.
Yeah, lots of them to do, isn't there?
She's missing the gymnastics.
I know, and they're missing so much, but we've just got to get them active.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, Nikki, thank you. Stay with us. Still to come on 7's Afternoon News, how technology is helping the elderly adapt to our new reality. And is the wet weather staying with us? Amelia will let us know.
Home and Away is back next Monday at 7.
Did you forget your shirt, or are you just trying to get everyone's attention?
What's a girl got to do to get the guy?
A woman can't wait forever.
Try flirting.
Looks like a man who'd be good with his hands.
Yeah, nothing comes to mind.
Try yelling.
I like you. I mean, what's a girl got to do? I just need a different tactic.
Or don't say anything.
Hey. Can't get rid of me that easily.
We'll have to work harder then.
One approach will work, but which one?
I believe in second chances. Do you like me too?
Home and Away is back next Monday at 7 on 7.
If you could see flu or coronavirus, you'd see how easily it spreads. But we can take steps to stop it. Stay away from others when you're sick. Cover your coughs and sneezes. Wash your hands and wipe down surfaces. Let's stop the spread.
Eclipse Chewy Mint?
Thanks.
You look fresher.
Don't be ridiculous.
Eclipse Chewy Mints.
Portside Mitsubishi's huge demo sale is on now. Drive away in an ASX ES Auto now $24,990. Eclipse Cross Black Edition Auto now $28,990. Drive away. Huge demo savings continue. Triton GLX 4x4 Auto now $33,990. Drive away. Triton GLS Auto now $41,990. Drive away. And Pajero GLX Auto now $46,990. Drive away. So don't go anywhere. Don't buy anything. Don't sign anything until you've checked out Portside Mitsubishi.
If your detergent isn't strong enough to remove stains without pre-rinsing, you're wasting up to 40 litres of water. Try new Finish Quantum Ultimate Pro. So powerful, you don't need to pre-rinse. It scrubs away dried-on stains, degreases, and provides the ultimate shine. Stop the pre-rinse. Choose new Finish Quantum Ultimate Pro.
Huddling at home? Try Domino's new Chicken Palmy on Deep Pan. With 22 succulent chicken pieces and crispy rasher bacon from just $15 delivered. Order now with total peace of mind thanks to zero contact delivery from Domino's.
5 to get in 19 seconds, but he's really going to have to motor.
Umpire.
Correct.
Scotland.
Correct.
Hamilton.
Correct. Dave.
18.
Correct. Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me is a classic album by which band?
Kiss.
Stop the clock. What'd you say?
The Chase, coming up next on 7.
Impacting you. Power bill spikes, how to get relief and cancelling payments, your refund rights. 7 News, tonight, 6 o'clock.
Good afternoon, it's Vanna here with your latest Adelaide traffic. And don't forget, it is a massive reminder that speeds are reduced for roadworks on the freeway up track at the Mount Barker exit. So it has been dropped to about 60 k's through the area. It's definitely causing some delay, so exercise patience and make sure you're planning ahead. Being injured in a road accident? Visit cnflawyers.com.au to know where you stand. Their team is set up remotely and ready to assist with your claim to get your life back on track. Back to you, Rosanna.
Thanks, Savannah. Now on 7 News tonight, how a group of local businessmen is defying the current economic gloom with some grand plans. They're aiming to build a $50 million 6-star landmark hotel in the Barossa Valley, which they're confident will draw visitors from across the world and create much-needed jobs.
Probably polarises people. Some people look at it and go, "Ugh, I don't like it," and others look at it and go, "That is just magnificent," and that's exactly what we wanted.
And you can see that exclusive story on 7 News tonight at 6. Now, these past few weeks have thrown up so many challenges, but spare a thought for our older South Australians in isolation who've been thrust into a brand new world of online apps to help stay connected. Tim Noonan checked in to see how they're faring.
91-year-old Peter Mussered's pedalling hard to escape his pandemic prison.
Speak a bit slower, would you?
He's happily done a bit of email before, but this is stretching it.
I didn't understand it.
But he's learnt fast. He's had to.
Hilarious. He's never had so much advice in all his life.
One of his daughters, Jane Mussered, is CEO of the Council on the Ageing. She's got her hands full just helping her own dad.
Even from a distance, do some teaching and be patient about what is a steep learning curve.
4 of the family did the Saturday morning newspaper quiz together on a shared screen from kilometres apart.
It's very important because it brings my children closer to me and my other friends too, because I can play bridge on the computer.
That was a turning point. As a competitive guy, he needs to be out smashing the opposition to feel alive.
Much more important because they need to be taught how to play.
This is National Seniors Advocate Ian Henschke giving a well-received speech to an Adelaide Central Rotary Club lunch. Most are over 70s.
Cheers.
Can't complain about the catering when it's your own home.
So I thought, are they going to break the rules? But no, it was a electronic lunch.
Yum. There'll be many more. Tim Noonan, 7 News.
Yep, doing very well indeed. Let's go to the weather now. And Amelia, after a soggy weekend, a bit of sunshine this afternoon.
That's right, Rosanna. We've got clear skies over the city this afternoon, and that's hopefully going to set the tone for the next few days after a wet weekend. All up, we've had a little over 24 millimetres in the West Terrace gauge, more than half of the April monthly average. Temperature-wise, we usually expect a maximum this month around the 22-degree mark, and on average, we usually expect an overnight low just shy of 13 degrees in the city. Well, today we weren't far off the mark either. We hit a top of 20.4 a short time ago, and early this morning the temperature dipped to 11.4 degrees, and we've got cool southwesterly winds at play, so if you're not standing in the sunshine you can see that it feels just a little bit cooler going around the grounds. And there's not a lot on the radar down in the eastern capitals. Sydney could see a shower tonight about the coast, and it's currently 19 degrees there, whereas it's warm and sunny in Perth as a ridge of high pressure sits to our south. It'll slowly head east, heading up near Tasmania later in the week, causing the temperature to warm up just a fraction ahead of a cold front that's due to hit by the weekend. Tomorrow, that high is keeping conditions stable. We've got temperatures in the mid-20s forecast across our far north, but further south, southeasterly winds could lead to the odd shower about the ranges and the coast, more likely about the coasts of Eyre and Fleurieu Peninsula and KI. So a grey day for Mount Gambier, just 17's the forecast top there, 18 for Narracourt, 21 for Renmark and Murray Bridge, 19 for Victor Harbour, Kingscote, Newry-Utpa and Clare, 22 for Cadena, 24 for Port Pirie and Port Augusta and 21 for Port Lincoln. In the city, not far off the average tomorrow either, down to 14 degrees overnight with just a few clouds about during the day. They could maybe produce a shower about the hills or southern suburbs in the morning. 21's the forecast top. Further ahead, and the Easter long weekend forecast is in. It's looking good. Of course, we'll have more on that at 6, Rosanna, so we can plan the egg hunt accordingly.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Amelia. And that's all from the afternoon news team. Jane will, of course, have our next bulletin at 6 o'clock. From me, it's bye for now.
Just imagine.
Oh my God.
Oh. You walk in and your whole house is fully renovated.
Oh, have a look at this.
So beautiful.
But to earn your dream, first you have to do this.
You're about to take on the biggest challenge ever. Look up. It's right in front of you.
The stakes are sky high. To earn your spot in this competition, you'll be renovating the penthouse of this iconic building.
Is that a pool?
It is huge.
Buildings don't intimidate us. We intimidate them.
This season is a monster.
Bigger reveals.
Could go bang on the cover of a glossy magazine.
Bigger emotion.
You okay?
Is this even our house?
The biggest renovations that TV has ever seen.
Look at this view. They wanted luxury and glamour. You got luxury and glamour.
The rules have changed. Welcome to High Stakes. Only on 7. It's here. Tonight at 7.
These 4 strangers must work as a team.